大家好，欢迎收看《旁观华尔街视角》。昨天忘了把电脑带回家，所以昨天的功课没有做，所以今天的内容就非常多。当然，这两天华尔街股票市场走势都是呈现一个反弹，而且科技类股又成为投资人热烈追捧的行业类股，是不是这个盘整已经结束了呢？昨天和今天两位专家为大家进行分析。
Well, actually, I think that what we're simply doing is going and retesting what had happened. Investors experienced a 7% decline in the S&P 500. We saw the growth sector decline twice as much as the value sector. And now we've been bouncing off of that low. But we are just going through a technical reflex rally. I don't think we can say that the correction is finally over.
Well, I do believe that a 10 to 15% correction, which is what we had from the highs, is not an unusual occurrence in the market. We've seen 59% of the corrections that we have generally tend to be about 10-15%. So right now, the market has definitely bounced back, but it's into some resistance. NASDAQ, the S&P 500, the diamonds, all of them are right into some technical resistance in that they held major support at the 50-day moving average, and they're running into some minor support here at the 10-day moving average. So with NASDAQ, it would really be like 282 is the number if you look at the Qs. In SPY, it would be 342 if you look at the SPY. So I think right here, it'll be very interesting to see what happens if it can continue to pop over today's highs with Fed meeting coming out tomorrow. Then yeah, we might have more. If we start to falter and roll over here, particularly if we're looking at the Dow and it starts to get back under 28,000, then I might be a little bit more concerned.
那么现在是9月中，离今年年底还有3个多月，对，3个多月。所以在这3个多月之中，股票市场是不是还会面临呢更严重的一次大幅盘整呢？以下是专家的分析。
Well, we definitely have a few things that we have to look at as legitimate concerns. I think the first and foremost, of course, is a second wave of the pandemic as the weather gets colder. Nobody knows the answer to that, so it's really hard to predict. You have to be somewhat flexible. Obviously, the presidential election can also cause some fireworks, considering we're already seeing a lot of protests throughout the country, and they seem to be increasing, not decreasing. But there's also the stimulus package, which right now the market has basically discounted. But if the government cannot pass, and I believe they will, but if they cannot pass some form of stimulus, you're going to see pressure starting in the banking sector, which is already going down with the market going up. You're going to see pressure in certainly as far as some of the consumers, because people will be running out of stimulus money, loan moratoriums will become due, furloughed workers will stop getting money, small businesses will start going out. So it does seem like we're navigating through a really kind of scary forest here, but yet the market is still holding up. So we'll see what happens.
I would think that a major trigger could be a triple play in that you have the Democrats gain control of the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. In that case, because the stated policy by a Biden administration would be to increase the taxes on capital gains and dividends, likely more than doubling where they are today. So I think investors would probably say, you know what, I'll take my tax bite while I know it's at 21% rather than risk waiting to take the tax bite in 2021 at a rate that's as high as 43+%. So I believe that a Democratic sweep could end up triggering some tax selling in November.
在现在呢，就是节目截稿之前，现在白宫还没有最新的消息，到底是不是能够批准甲骨文和 TikTok 进行战略合作的这个提案。但是呢，就这个战略合作本身是不是真的很符合逻辑性，而且投资人怎么看待甲骨文公司今后的前景，它的市值，以及这个合作是不是有真正的意义？
Well, I think that Oracle really has been sort of a secondary player to Microsoft and other of these systems software companies for quite some time, and they want to get back into the game, and I think that they're doing so with TikTok. We still have a sell recommendation on the Oracle shares. Our belief is you're better positioned with Microsoft and some of the other sector leaders.
I mean, number one, Trump was looking for full acquisition, and that's not what's happening with Oracle and TikTok. They're not getting full acquisition. So that's number one. Number two is because Oracle's not going to be rewriting TikTok's algorithms, it still leaves room for ByteDance to come in and push some kind of Chinese propaganda. I mean, that was the concern that Trump had. So the app itself was supposed to be removed on the 20th, and with the meeting supposedly happening today to see if the government will approve this situation with Oracle and TikTok, we'll see what happens. The word is that Trump will approve it, and they will approve it, and it'll move forward, which is interesting because there's always the big threat and then pull back. So it's going to be perceived as positive, I think, for the market. For Oracle, definitely, because they're getting paid by TikTok to do this, and that definitely will improve their bottom line.
明天星期三开始呢，连股神巴菲特和美国很多的亿万富翁都注资的 Snowflake 一个数据库的软件即将上市。那据说现在的开盘价标价是$85一股，那么价格已经很高了。不过今天呢，我读到一篇文章是 Seeking Alpha 的一个专家分析，实际上他认为最多50块钱。如果任何价格超过50块钱都不值得进场，因为这家公司什么时候能够转亏为盈？虽然现在现金实力好像是蛮雄厚的，当然要真正有盈利，这营业模式才算是稳定。那接下来今天的专家也有一些个人看法。
The people that are able to buy shares ahead of the IPO is that they have an advantage usually. What Buffett paid for the stock, I'm not sure. But generally speaking, my style of trading is I do not buy IPOs. If you want to get in on an active trade day of just to see if you can make some money, that's one thing. But I like to see some type of price pattern, and then I have a better idea, okay, this is support, this is where it could go. So for me personally, I would watch it with a lot of interest, but I would probably wait at least a few days, if not a week, maybe even a month, before I would start to get involved from putting my own money at risk. And I've seen this over and over with IPOs. You have a great launch, and then immediately the price comes down. Eventually you find some floor, and then it's a much better opportunity to get in. There's no reason to be in a rush.
以上就是今天星期二的内容，谢谢您的收看，我们下次再见。